Okay, man. I've been hearing a lot on the internet about this, that, or the other. You know what I'm saying? And today we're gonna dig into it, man. You know what I mean? Because they say that arrest has been made. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, allegedly. So they say in the court of law. So this man right here is allegedly supposed to be the man that got arrested today, and people know him by his name. They go by the name of Big U. But all these other dudes was booked, allegedly. It says in custody. And this guy, I guess, was the last man standing out of all these people. You get it? So, oh boy, they even got the Brickster and all of these. Look at these dudes right here, man. This is crazy. Now, this is today's news because I'm going to take y'all to the Pilgrim. You know what I mean? I'm going to take y'all to the Pilgrims and let them tell it. I'm not going to say a word because this is just public information. So I'm just using this public information to let you know what's going on. So they say they got this dude, Loose Cannon, this dude, Brick Baby. They got the government and they got the alleged street name or whatnot or whatever. So check it out, man. This is deep because in the process of all of this, you know, you have other YouTubers, 600, and other dudes like this, you know, speaking on this man's name right here, which is the big guy. Big draws, Operation Takedown, and all of this stuff they got going on this brother right here. Okay, so we're going to get into it, man. It's called Operation Drawdown. That's what the Babylons called it. That's what the Europeans is calling it. So these words is not coming from myself, and none of this information that I'm saying is coming from myself, because I'm just speaking on what the speak on is, and I usually don't do this, but this is big stuff, man, and it's public information, and I've been watching and laying low and seeing what's going down, and hey, man, Operation Drawdown is what's going down. So Trip, hold that note right there, and we go dig into this. This man is supposed to be the one that they apprehended today at his home in Los Angeles. Okay, allegedly. Okay, because I don't believe nothing I see. I don't believe nothing I hear, and I'm not too sure about what I see until, you know what I mean, the power that be let you know what it really is. Okay, so we're going to hold on right there, and we're going to get into this. It's going to be a little bit of time, but it's going to be real public news, and I'm going to let the Pilgrims talk about the operation they set up and everything, and I'm not going to interrupt it or do anything. I'm just let y'all get it, and we're going to punch up out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the station. This is the UGFA, and you already know how we do it. All right, here we go. We digging into it, man.
It took place in just the past 24 hours, and the charges range from racketeering to murder.
Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is live in downtown LA. Joins us now with some of the details. Rob.
Yeah, it sounds like the Crips have been cribbed. The FBI announcing that they made a sweeping bust of the Rolling 60s Crips gang, but are still looking for its longtime leader. Now, here's some Air 7 video from earlier this morning showing some of the alleged gang members being processed in tents at the FBI's Los Angeles office.
Oh, so they ain't got a big dude yet, I don't think.
Search warrants executed at 6 different locations today. Hundreds of agents and officers arresting 10 people. And all 19 have been indicted. 4 were already in custody, so at least 5 more arrests are expected. But the search is on for the man they say has been heading up the local Crips gang for decades. Eugene Henley Jr. Investigators say he's been painting himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities. But they say in reality, he's a violent criminal, the leader of the Crips, with a long list of crimes on his resume.
The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar. and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
Now, here's one more look at Henley. Again, he's on the loose. If you know where he is, you are urged to call the FBI. Now, prosecutors say right now Henley is charged with racketeering conspiracy, which carries...
That never fails, man. So yeah, man.
Good morning. I'm Joe McNally, the acting United States Attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise, an enterprise engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody, and we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive. The Department of Justice's top priority is eliminating violent crime caused by criminal street gangs and organized crime. These organizations cause a tremendous amount of harm in our communities. And today's arrests are part of our office's efforts, FBI, IRS, LAPD, the team you see up here, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, who are posing as savvy businessmen and community leaders, but in the end are violent criminals. The affidavit filed with the criminal complaint alleges that Mr. Henley operated Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that utilized Mr. Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Crips criminal street gang and other gangs here in Los Angeles to intimidate businesses and individuals in our communities. I want to stress that the allegations here in the complaint are allegations only, and the defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rollin 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation.
Dig that.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at-youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high-crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines, extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit.
So these are all the alleged accounts that they have against him, that is enough evidence to issue a warrant to arrest him when they do catch up with him.
In 2019 and was entitled to government assistance, despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief. Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity. Henley used this charity as a front. He used it to conceal his fraudulent activities, his criminal enterprises activities, and evade detection from law enforcement. If convicted on the racketeering conspiracy, he and his co-conspirators face approximately a 20-year federal prison sentence. I want to thank our federal law enforcement partners, or state law enforcement partners, who brought about the result here today. The Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force from the FBI. It's comprised of FBI agents, LAPD officers, IRS Criminal Investigation, U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General's Office, Los Angeles Police Department, the North Las Vegas Police Department. This case is a great example of state and federal law enforcement working together to address harm from a criminal enterprise.
Whoa.
I also want to thank our prosecutors, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Kevin Butler and Jenna McCabe, for their diligence and dogged determination in this case. With that, I'll turn it over to our next speaker, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Dox.
Thank you, Joe. Absolutely.
So yeah, man, this investigation has been running for a while, man, and they're using every asset that they can to get whatever information that they need, from social media to your social media to public social media to whatever the internet has to offer and to whatever your phones have to offer, and forever who got your name in your mouth from, what they call voice recognition. If you say certain words, then certain things key off and they start recording.
My name is Ted Dox, Special Agent in Charge of FBI Los Angeles' Criminal Division. These operations are truly a team effort, and I would like to recognize those partnerships. If not for their commitment, dedication, and follow-through, we would not be here today. First, I'd like to thank LAPD, IRS Criminal Investigations, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for working collaboratively for the past 4 years. In this case, with FBI Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force
4 years.
on violent gangs. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Marshal Service for their assistance today, and many departments in California, Arizona, Nevada, and the North Las Vegas Police Department. Now, this morning, hundreds of agents and officers, including multiple SWAT teams, executed multiple arrest warrants for many of the 19 defendants charged in this case. Search warrants were executed at 6 locations. Those searches continue to be underway. 4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives. They are Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, and Brian Mejia. We will provide their photographs to the media following this announcement.
Yeah.
Anyone with information as to their whereabouts should not take action on their own, but contact the FBI. You can reach us by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Oh yeah, he's a done.
During this investigation, we recovered 49 weapons, 5 pounds of methamphetamines, 10,000 fentanyl pills, and large amounts of cash. The Rollin 16 Crips have been around for decades, and by some estimates are among the largest gangs in the country, with factions in multiple states. Mr. Henley has been a known member of the Rollin 16 Crips since the 1980s, where he established his reputation and earned standing with fellow gang members. He has been able to use that standing to intimidate businesses and individuals and to commit various forms of violence, including the alleged murder outlined by the U.S. Attorney. He's also been able to influence others to give him money, only to defraud his victims, including defrauding the U.S., the government, the city of Los Angeles, and you, the taxpayer. Before I close, I'd like to ask that anyone who has information about the alleged criminal activity or feel that they have been victimized by any of the defendants, call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Whoa.
We've targeted this gang in the past and will continue to target gangs who seed violence and fear in our communities. The FBI will never waver on our commitment to combat violent gangs and those individuals affiliated who prey on others. Today's arrests make neighborhoods across our city safer. Thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to IRS SAC Tyler Hatcher.
Yeah, they got a lot to talk about, man. It's been 4 years of investigation.
Good morning. Again, I'm Tyler Hatcher. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation here in Los Angeles. Today's arrests are the result of outstanding investigative work by law enforcement partners from LAPD, U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and my office, who've worked tirelessly to find the evidence necessary to charge those who are alleged to bring harm to our communities, as you've heard previously.
He must be the main
The
dude.
RICO charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that runs a gambit from extortion to robbery to murder to tax fraud and to human trafficking, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Henley.
Whoa.
Additionally, Mr. Henley duped the County of Los Angeles by running a nonprofit named Developing Options, which was set up to pull youth out of the gang life and promote anti-gang solutions. Yet Mr. Henley continued to personally orchestrate violent gang activity that impact our communities. Donors trust that their donations will be used in a manner that's consistent with what the charity was set up to do and applied as intended. In this case, it was for the benefit of at-risk youth. Financial transactions leave a trail, and IRS Criminal Investigation Special Agents are the best at following that trail. The trails led to Mr. Henley's, allegedly lead to Mr. Henley's personal bank account, and the money trail doesn't lie. Organized crime victimizes our Los Angeles communities far too frequently, but the arrests made today demonstrate our commitment to making Los Angeles safer for everyone impacted by these criminal enterprises. IRSCI is proud to partner with our federal and state and local law enforcement partners to make our communities safer and to protect from these violent acts. And on that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. I'll keep my comments brief. From day one, the Los Angeles Police Department's been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the FBI and our partners here today in this critical investigation. The invaluable expertise provided by Operation South Bureau FBI Task Force on the Rollin 60s criminal street gang has played a pivotal role in securing these 19 federal indictments laid out this morning. It's a major step forward in our ongoing fight against gang violence and brings hope and relief to a community that for too long has endured far too much. Together we will continue to protect and serve, working tirelessly to ensure safety in all of our neighborhoods. I'll return the U.S. Attorney, Joe McNally, for any questions follow-up.
Take any questions.
Yeah, man. So
Henley is still on the loose.
He is.
Do you expect this next? Or is this something
Yeah, I think all I can say is
we're gonna let a couple questions get answered. Then we're gonna just basically close it up, man. You know what I mean? I just seen this on the news, and I heard these other YouTubers. Salute to them. Nina Boy 600, and I can't remember the other dude. Yeah. Trap boy. Trapper. Yeah, man. Salute to y'all, man. But yeah, man. So it's real in the field, man. I don't know who said who, or who was who, or who was who, or who had a who. But this is what the Europeans say. This is what the Pilgrims saying. So when the Pilgrims say it, most of the time it's official. You know what I mean? So there it is. There we're gonna hear a few more questions, man, and we're gonna close this up, man. Hit the subscribe buttons, man. You already know what it is.
look, he is the leader here, and we're looking for him and trying to find him. He's a fugitive at this point, and we're using resources to try to track him down.
So, Mr. 600, you said you gave him a heads up by whatever they said that you was leaking information off of. So, I guess he did take heed to something, and he did it moving. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Salute to you on that.
The arrests were made this morning in early this morning. So there are There were a number of arrests, I think roughly 10 this morning, and then there are other individuals who were in state custody that are being transferred into federal custody. Approximately 10 arrests were made this morning.
Whoa.
I think you mentioned it earlier, but what kind of penalties or time?
They are not
So,
playing.
a federal racketeering conspiracy complaint that's charged here, 1962D, covers up to 20 years in federal prison. The next stage here would be that Mr. Henley and others would be indicted by a grand jury, and the penalties at that point could range and include higher penalties. So at this point, he's charged in a criminal complaint.
Whoa.
Is he charged with murder?
He's charged in a RICO conspiracy, and part of that RICO conspiracy, one of the predicate acts is the murder that is described in the complaint. He has not yet charged in an indictment with substance murder.
Not just yet.
Defrauded. Can you tell us how much taxpayer dollars he obtained from what city leader or official? And what does this mean for groups that are working on anti-gang efforts and trying to get donations from celebrities?
Sure. So I think just to kind of go back, Mr. Henley and the allegations are here. Operated a criminal enterprise. He used his status in LA as a gang member, somebody who was known as an enforcer, in order to execute the crimes that are described in the criminal complaint. As part of that, and to get your question, he also had this charity and held himself out there to be somebody who was committed to reducing gang violence, committed to supporting youth in the city. As part of that, he received grants from government agencies to do that work. And as we describe in the criminal complaint, he used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it. And that money was ultimately traced, and that we can show that he used it for personal purposes. So there was an embezzlement angle to this, to the criminal enterprise, where hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned off that should have gone to charitable purposes, gang reduction, gang intervention. Instead, he used it for his own purposes, his own criminal enterprise. In addition to that, there was tax loss. And like many of our cases, we ultimately do a financial investigation, and we see that embezzlement, that siphoning happens often. There's a parallel tax conduct that is also described in the complaint. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that the charity ultimately siphoned off for his purposes. It was a charity that he controlled, and again, held himself out there to be somebody in our community who was, as Chief McDonald said, these communities are oftentimes our poorest communities that need intervention the most. They need law enforcement the most. He held himself out as somebody who was part of that team trying to improve South Los Angeles. And the facts in the indictment and the wiretap calls that we intercepted as part of the investigation that are described in the complaint, not the indictment, the complaint, describe that contradiction. That on the one hand, he's Mr. Charity, and on the other hand, he's engaging in all this criminal conduct. That's set out in the criminal complaint.
Okay, so it's outlined in the criminal complaint specifically what government agency gave him money.
It's outlined. It's outlined that he got grant money. I believe that money flowed through the city of Los Angeles, but I don't have the specifics in front of me. What I can tell you is that typically, grants flow through the state and then eventually, are typically issued through the city.
And to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Did you say the name of the charity? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, the charity I referenced earlier is Developing Options.
So yeah, that was one of the charities that he had, excuse me, called Developing Options, that he put together as a nonprofit organization to get his ID number, to be considered and noticed in the public as being a nonprofit organization that does help and support the community. Okay, so man, we're about to close it up here, man. I got some final words, and then I'm gonna get up out of here, man. So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. So they looking for the brother, man. So wherever he is where he at, and they gonna get at him when they get at him. And we gonna just leave it at that, man. And everything that they were saying was allegedly to be real, man. You know what I mean? So, man, sometimes, you dig a hole real deep, and then the hole is too deep for you to back your way up out of it. You need a ladder to get your ass up out of it, man. So, man, hey, let's keep it safe. Let's keep it cool. Let's stay dangerous, but don't be no fool. We're going to get up out of here, man. Hit the subscribe button so we out of here, man. One love, one life.